Hey guys, well, I'm here with a part that you might not normally see, especially on a Sentra, which is a fender brace. This is made by UR Racing. I don't know how these two symbols look like a U or R. It is what it is. I have another one of their products, the trunk brace, which I'll show you in a little bit. But essentially, I got a good deal on this part. It's a little bit hard to find. It's often either made or sold from Southeast Asia. So getting it over here in the States is not that easy, but I lucked out, found somebody on Facebook that actually had them in the US, got them for a pretty good deal. Thought the installation would just be a simple bolt-on. It's not, which is why I'm going to go ahead and do this video. I'm going to first start with the materials, then the process, and then the installation. But I might actually jump ahead of all of that and explain why people add this piece in the first place. All right, so as you can see, I have it mocked up as where it's gonna have its final resting place. I have seen that some people actually weld this part in. I'm not gonna do that. I don't have the materials or skills to do that. I am going to install it the traditional way, which is to just simply bolt it in with a little bit longer studs here. They're all M8 by 1.25, but as far as, or in reference to the fact that it's not so straightforward as I thought there would be holes here. They're not, but in order to rectify that, you're gonna have to put M18 by 1.25 rivets here in order to create bolt holes that you can then bolt it on. Now, briefly, I'm gonna go over why. Why do this? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and set this down and then check out the dry rotted Advent Neovas and little Megan Racing coilovers. But the reason why is if you actually look at the point at which the fender brace meets, it actually meets right here. And so it creates, in conjunction with the strut bar, excuse the mess, in the conjunction with the strut bar, it actually creates a triangulation or like a box that actually ends up stiffening the chassis over here. Now you might look at this and say, hey, this is pretty robust material. But if you actually just kind of look, it's actually all pretty thin gauge. And honestly, I was a little bit skeptical of this part, but upon seeing how thin the the material is underneath, I can clearly see how this tubular construction could really help out in stiffening the front end and creating maybe a more direct feel to the driver, of the car. Now, modern cars a lot of times don't really need any of these things, strut bars and things like that, because their frame chassis structure is far more rigid, more superior in design. But that's not what we're working with. We're working with a car from the early 2000s. So that's why we're doing this. So let's go ahead and go over some of the materials and the procedure. All right, so just pushing this on here. Fitment's pretty bad, so I'm gonna see if I can wallow it out on both sides, and then hopefully it should work. I think it will. But as you can see, it's way off, but we can split this difference on both sides, meet in the middle. All right, so I got my nice mock-up here. Wish this was the end of this, but it's not. So I went ahead and wallowed out the top holes, the top of these holes, wallowed out the bottom of these, and then it ended up fitting pretty nicely. And then I went ahead and drilled the holes in here, cut through like butter. And again, this, even just drilling through this is more evidence of why this is necessary, because this material is so thin, but it holds, you know, your suspension, and then it connects with the strut bar. So it's just a really thin gauge material, and I can already see why this is necessary. This is obviously, especially the way it comes out, this is way beefier than what is presently here. So I can definitely see the advantage upon just, you know, fabbing it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it off and install the rib nuts. Okay, this hole was here from the factory. It's not gonna work for you. Not sure what it's for, but I have these drilled out. I had to wall it out a little bit, and that's only really because I wasn't really using the right drill bits. So I'm gonna cinch this down. Just kind of go ahead and ready. And then I'm gonna need a wrench to tighten this, stabilize this, and then tighten this clockwise. And that should expand the rib nut and stabilize it in the frame. And I'll do that top, bottom, put the brace back on, screw everything in, and then this side will be done. All right, so I have the rivets in. I just want to caution you not to over torque them. This is the material, the brass material. And as you tighten it down, it basically squeezes it and shortens it. But this one's a little bit overdone, as you can see, in comparison to this one. And so it does have a little bit of interference with the bolt when I tested it. So just keep that in mind, not to try to over torque them. I did use an impact, and what I did was with this, I put a 12 socket on here, 14 millimeter to stabilize it. And as you can see, just doing this seemed to cause quite a bit of stress to this tool. So I honestly don't think that this tool is gonna last past this job. It's actually extremely hot while I'm filming it, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and drop it right there. But that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and see if everything bolts up, and then give you a final picture of what it looks like.